Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Logan here from Geeks of the West. Now, I want to talk to you about politics from a gamer's perspective. A lot of people have this stereotype that gamers are unintelligent or they have no life or they're geeky and they don't know anything about the world or they don't get out enough or shit like that basically is kind of the stereotype of gamers. Like, they're brainless, mindless, they can't think for themselves, or they spend their entire life in this virtual whatever the hell that doesn't even matter to people at all. That is not true. Gamers are just like anybody else. They're just like people who watch movies, people who listen to music, read books, who write movies, people who paint, who draw, who work out as a hobby. The only difference is the way they get their form of entertainment. However, we are very aware. However, the thing about gamers that people don't understand is that we are highly supportive of technology and we like new technology. At least a true gamer, in my opinion, is somebody who enjoys technology, embraces technology, because technology is what makes video games something special or makes video games amazing. Some people, I've heard this opinion before, and it really irritates me, but the opinion is, or the stereotyped, not the opinion, but the assumption is, or just the statement in general, what I heard was, wow, video games, imagine what that technology could be doing if it was doing something important or made for something important. And that just makes me so mad. Because listen, okay, sure, video games aren't the most important thing in the world. I will be the first to admit that. I love video games, but I could probably live without it if I really had to. I could live without it even if I didn't have to. I just choose to play them because I think they're fun. And yeah, some of the technology behind a lot of video games, especially in computers, is just absolutely ridiculous. And by ridiculous, I don't mean like ridiculous as in fucking stupid. I mean ridiculous as in holy cow, fucking ridiculous, man. Do you know what I'm saying? The thing is what people don't understand is if somebody makes a technology for some sort of medical or travel advancement, it will help gaming because it will help the current state of technology. So if somebody in the medical field or the the medical field or like making some sort of transportation via aircraft, land vehicle, boat, ship, whatever, whatever the technology may be where they made this invention, it's going to help the entire technology scientific community because, hey, look, they invented something, they figured out something new, so we're going to be able to implement that into our lives and our basic engineering that we use to create other technologies. And the same thing applies for technology and gaming. Because guess what? If somebody invents something, a piece of technology that makes a computer more powerful, a gaming computer more powerful, guess what that technology is going to be used for? That technology is going to be used to make fucking computers in universities more powerful, the computers used at NASA and other agencies even more powerful. Scientists and engineers alike are going to have better computers. Climatologists are going to have better computers to make better simulations so we can better understand our Earth's climate, and any scientists can use this powerful technology that's being upgraded because of video gaming. So yeah. Anyway, that is a topic for another video, an entirely different video. What I want to talk about is the gamer's perspective, or my perspective as a gamer on the world. So here's my perspective as a gamer on the world politically. Okay, anything political, government, anything that concerns that, this is my view on it. And in the United States, we have two major parties that we vote for every 4 years, and so on. It's the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. The Republican Party is usually considered the conservative party, while the Democratic Party is usually considered the liberal party, pretty much. There's other third party members out there, independents, libertarians, Whigs, communists are actually out there, socialists, and all of that. I don't really associate myself with any party, and I consider myself more of a conservative as opposed to a liberal. However, if I were to choose a party, I would be independent because I do share opinions from both liberals and conservatives. I do like the liberal or the democratic idea of having a healthcare system that helps everybody, regardless of income, or you don't have to pay for your medical expenses. However, I understand that people need to make money. But you know what I think? There's an issue with both political parties, both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And I think both conservatives and liberals can be way too extreme. So I'm just going to tell you some things that I agree with and what I don't agree with. When it comes to abortion, it seems as if Republicans or conservatives are more or less the ones who are against abortion, more of the conservative view, they have to keep it or whatever. And then the liberals or Democrats are usually the ones who they not necessarily supporting it, but they allow women to have the choice. So, I mean, and if you ask me, I'm more of a conservative. However, my opinion on abortion is I think women should be allowed to have it. And this is for not entirely personal reasons, but my opinion is biased based on personal opinions or stuff that touches close to me, that touches close to home, and some experiences that I've had that allow me to support abortion. Because matter of the fact is, if you understand basic biology, as bad as this is gonna sound, a fetus is technically not alive at prior stages at the very beginning of the pregnancy and so on. I do understand where pro-life or anti-abortion people come from. However, it's not their decision to make. It's not murder, because let's make an analogy. Say your closest friend has an aneurysm and he becomes brain dead and he's in the hospital. His body's still alive. He's breathing. His heart is beating. Blood's flowing through his body, okay? But he's brain dead. His brain is no longer functional. He has no functions in his brain whatsoever, and he's basically dead. They consider that brain dead, and there's nothing they can do, and you're pretty much dead. At that point, the only thing you can do is pull the plug. Your brain's not functioning. It's not even working. It's not there, but your body is still alive. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? So an unborn fetus in the early stages of pregnancy is practically the same thing as somebody who's brain dead, at the ending stages of their life. Do you understand? It's not the same thing as, fetuses are... Obviously, fetuses are developing human beings that could potentially have a life, and brain dead people are obviously dead, and they potentially don't have a life. That's not even potentially, that's guaranteed. They don't have a life. However, the current state of consciousness is exactly the same. There's no brain activity. So therefore, an unborn fetus is technically not alive. It's in the process of being alive. You wouldn't say that a broken down pickup is running, would you? If you can't even drive it, you wouldn't say it's running. And I know machines and humans are different. And the fact that, it's just basic biology. We're living, breathing objects, and a machine isn't. Okay, but do you understand the analogies I'm trying to make? Nonetheless, abortion is nobody's business but the person who wishes to have an abortion and maybe the father, depending on certain circumstances. Okay, you cannot force a girl to get pregnant, especially if it could end up killing her or that baby is gonna go through some terrible stuff in its life because the mom can't afford it. Do you understand? And there's no way in hell that you could sit there and tell somebody who's gonna give birth to give their baby up for adoption. It's complete bullshit. You know what? These are the same people, these hypocritical people that will sit there and say, "Oh, you had a baby that you can't support, and blah blah blah. Maybe you shouldn't have gotten pregnant." That's like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Because they're the same people who are against abortion. Like, give them a fucking option. Okay, that's me. That's my opinion. That just really irritates me. Now let's make another analogy. People who say, "Oh, you know, you had sex and you got pregnant, you can face the consequences." Okay, well, if you get in a car, you get in a car accident and you die, are you gonna face the same consequences? Do you have to face the consequences? Say you get in a car accident, you're dead on scene. Okay, you die 2 minutes before the paramedics get there. The paramedics can revive you. Okay, and you were driving a car, you got in the car knowing what could happen. You knew the consequences of what would happen if you got in a car accident. You knew car accidents are very common and could easily happen. Okay, you knew that, right? And paramedics show up, you're dead in 2 minutes. They could revive you, but they don't because they say, "Oh, well, you know, they understood the consequences. They got in the car. They chose to drive, you know. They have to face the consequences now." Do you understand that analogy? And if you're if you're anti-abortion or you're trying, not that you disagree with abortion, but you're trying to change the laws for abortion, fuck you, because all that does is it makes people die from getting unsafe abortions. Abortions are going to happen with or without fucking you know, whether or not the law supports it. The only thing the fucking law does that allows abortion is it allows females to practice safe abortion. So fuck you if you're against it. Fuck everything that you stand for, because you're a fucking hypocrite. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. And now I want to talk about education. Okay, a lot of people think that Republicans, they just, you know, they're in it for the money. They don't want to put money in education. Or conservatives, Republicans, people assume that Republicans and conservatives don't want to put in money to education, you know, because they don't really care. They think, you know, the school system's fine the way it is, which is not true, because let's be honest. A lot of teachers are liberal, okay? A lot of teachers are democratic, but the reason is because a lot of teachers like the union. Because guess what the union does? It makes sure that the average teacher gets $60,000 a fucking year. And guess what else? They get plenty of vacation time. When teachers tell me that they are underpaid, I just want to fucking shank them in the throat. Be like, fucking excuse me? Excuse me. Average fucking associate's bachelor degree. Average make $40,000 a year. Okay? And that's the lowest paid teacher. Okay, fucking average teachers make $60,000 a fucking year. Guess what? My mom, who supported me while I was growing up, only made $26,000 a year. Okay, and guess what she was able to do with that $26,000? She actually made $20,000 at the time she was supporting me and my brother. And you know what she did? She sent us through school. She supported it. I was able to play football throughout high school. I had clothes. I had food in my mouth. My mom was able to buy a truck, a brand new truck. Not a brand new truck, but a used truck. But that was practically brand new, because their other piece of shit car went down. I had medical insurance. I live extremely comfortably. Okay, I've had the internet. I've had video games. I've had heat. I've had showers. A roof over my head. Never once have I had to worry about a roof over my head. That's with $27,000 or less a year. Guess how much teachers make? $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and some of the highest paid teachers can make $66,000 to $75,000 fucking dollars a fucking year. On average, they make a little more than the average household makes. Anyway, most teachers support democratic or liberal views because Democrats and liberals put money, they fork over more money and raise the education costs, the education spending. Okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because yes, in theory that works, but the Democrats and liberal people support union, basically. I'm not saying union's bad. I'm just saying union isn't needed. But, a lot of that money, the Democrats and liberals support the unions. And guess what? We have the highest, one of the most highest budgets in our education system. And guess what? Our education system does even rank in the top 30 best education systems in the school. Our people are pretty fucking stupid. Okay, our people are illiterate. You can't deny that. I'm not saying that every American's stupid, because obviously the smart Americans are some of the smartest people in the fucking world, and it's vice versa. Some of our stupid people are the most stupid people in the entire world. But our education system is highly broken, and we're pumping more money into it than almost anything else, and besides the fucking military, obviously. And the Republican view, the conservative view, is we don't need to keep pumping money into an education system. That's obviously not what it is. We're giving them the money they need, that they say they need, that the union demands, that the teachers demand, and nothing's getting fixed. So the obvious problem isn't the fucking money. Schools can obviously afford enough on their own. This year, the high school in my town just allowed high school sports to be free. It used to be $100 the years that I went to play a single fucking sport. And when I did wrestling and football, it was $100 for football, $100 for wrestling. You know? So obviously, if my school, and I live in a small fucking poor town with one of the worst schools in the country, and guess what? Their sports are now free. Imagine that. Do you understand? Anyway, this is part 1 of my political views as a gamer. Please check out the next one that will come out, and I'll have a good one, guys.